Добрый день. Сегодня я сидел и думал о своем возвращении в Россию. So I sit here and think about my return to Russia and Moscow and Lipetsk. I started thinking about all the projects I have to do because I'm going to be leaving in about 3 weeks. And there's a lot of projects here that need to be done because most likely I'm not coming back for the rest of the year. This will be my longest trip there in one set amount of time, so I'm kind of excited about that. And I started thinking about the fact that it's been bothering me, or at least making me think about it. Some of you met me when I was interviewed on Country Acres, and I read a lot of the comments and stuff, and people really were bothered, specifically Russians, were really bothered with the fact that I'm not 100% fully moved to Russia and left the U.S. forever. Um, I mean, my goal is most likely to never do that, but I would love to go for a year or two at a time, and that would be great. But right now, I just can't. So I wanted to take this opportunity, and if you can hear the rooster in the back, sorry, we have a small farm here. Uh, I wanted to talk a little about why that is and what my plans are. Um, and again, don't. I may have said this before. I really enjoy different people's perspective and opinions about things. I have a quote that I tell my political friends here in the U.S. that I don't like being surrounded by people who have the same opinions and believe and think everything the way I do. What I say is, if if I if I surround myself with people who only think and believe what I do, it's going to be a very boring conversation. So I enjoy people thinking different, but it still doesn't make me think about things. So the the comment of I still have both feet there, 1 foot there and 1 foot here, and I mean it's a true comment. But let me tell you why. So I have businesses here, and a lot of people also the negative comments they all talked about that I talked about money too much. Probably, I'm an American businessman. What can I tell you? It's taken me 25 years to build my businesses, and I'm proud of it. So I'm not ashamed about talking about my business. But maybe I talk about it too much, and I do get that. I grew up from nothing, was poor. I mean, we were well taken care of, but we were poor, and I put myself through college and law school, and in the U.S. Law school is after you get your bachelor's. It's 3 years on top of that. And for me, an undergrad bachelor's is usually a 4 year degree, but I worked full time all the way through. My mom did support me a bit, but I worked full time all the way through. My undergrad took me 5.5 years to get my 4 year degree. And not because I wasn't doing well in classes or anything, just because I had to work. I had to pay for my own bills, I had to eat. I was on my own. Um, so it took me longer to do that. And then I joined the ROTC and did military training in the summers. And then afterwards, I graduated and I went to law school in a different city, and I did the same thing. It's a 3 year program if you go during the day. It's a 4 year program if you go at night. Well, again, I don't have any money, so I had to work full time during the day. And then I went to class Monday through Thursday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And in the summer, I was at least one of the summers, I did military training for the whole summer, 11 weeks. I was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. So it was busy. And then when I first started becoming an attorney, I made less money than I did in college. So it's been a long route. I mean, I opened up my own firm and grew from there. So I'm proud of it. If I talk about it too much, sorry. But it has allowed me to be introduced to Russia. I mean, if I didn't have a successful business, I wouldn't be able to go to Russia. I mean, I might be able to visit, but I wouldn't be able to live there. So I'm happy with it. So for me, the way that I'm doing this is I have a law office here and I have some junior partners. Slowly but surely, I'm giving them ownership of the firm. They don't give me any money. They have a small payment they have to make, but it's more for uh, legal reasons. They're not paying a lot. And then every year I give each one of them more and more ownership. And I can't just turn around and give it to them right now. So I got to make sure that the firm survives for their sake, and my sake, because I'm going to have a little bit of derivative ownership of it, so that way I can have some income, small income, something. So I need 5 years. That's my plan. Is a 5 year plan. We're already a year and a half into my 5 year plan uh, to accomplish this. Um, so I can't just go to Russia and never come back. We still have our farm here. We're building our farmhouse in Lipetsk, and when that's completed, then my wife will move there because we have animals here, and she wants animals there. And if any of you have animals, you can't leave your animals for months at a time. So, and it's kind of strange for us as a married couple that I'm here now in America and she's in Russia. And to tell a funny story, I think this is very funny. So, I came back from Russia. I left in early February, and then I came back in May, uh, just 2 weeks ago. And she drove to Chicago to the airport in my car. I was there already, waiting. I just arrived from Russia. Took her luggage out. I put my luggage in the car. We sat in the car for about 10 minutes and talked before the police people made us move. She got out of the car, got on a plane, and went to Russia, and I drove the car back home. And that's strange to a lot of people. It's strange to us. I mean, we don't like that. And so, but she comes back next week, just in a few days. So she was a very short trip. She had to go and take care of some stuff with we had our kitchen installed in our house, so she had to go back, and she wanted to be there to make sure it was done right. And I needed to return because my daughter graduated from college. If you've seen the other video, that shows a little bit about that. And she didn't have graduation from high school because of COVID. And she said, I don't care where you are in the world, Dad, but you better be at my graduation. So that's why I'm here. And so I'm taking this opportunity to do things around the house. I mean, I have to, the stupid stuff, but I have to clean the gutters. I have to trim the trees that are clogging the gutters. I have a whole new driveway being installed next week. Things like that that are rather large scale. So that way I can leave and it'll be good to go, hopefully, until I get back in the winter. Well, won't need to do that stuff in the winter, but I need to be here to at least get that stuff going. It's hard. I don't like having 2 feet in my feet in 2 different countries. It's hard. I mean, imagine that. You have 2 houses to take care of. Well, we have 2 houses and an apartment to take care of. I mean, it's difficult. I don't really enjoy it. I don't enjoy flying back so often. The longer I can stay, the better off I am. You know, I'm not the skinniest guy, or you could say that I'm fat, especially for Russian standards. I'm pretty big, and not tall. But it's not comfortable in the seats. I don't sleep well on the plane. It's expensive, very expensive, but it's how we have to do it. Now I have 2 daughters that are grown. My wife's oldest son, he's grown, got a baby, doing his thing, and my youngest has got 2 more years of university. And to be honest, we don't see a lot of them anyways. But I have a story about that in the end. I have some plans for that coming soon. So I'm just not at a place to be able to just abandon what I have here and live in Russia forever. And another thing I want to make sure, and I think during the interview he was trying to get me to say this, or not get me to think it. Maybe he thought that I was this. I wasn't quite like all of his other guests. I never looked to leave the U.S. Of course, I show some similarities in his opinions, not as extreme as his and other Americans who have left. My kids aren't little, so yes, I don't like how they're being taught things in school. And the kids are all grown, so there's no reason for me to take them out of school or anything. And second, I have businesses here. It's just not possible for me just to go there and start over. My language isn't good enough yet. I need some work on that. But I'm not running away from the U.S. I'm not that displeased with the U.S. I am not happy with it, and I don't think the direction it's going is good for anybody. I think the U.S. is so divisive that it's not good for anybody. And I think the new equality mantra that they're doing and the multiple genders is just craziness. And definitely, I don't like how that direction is going. The equality, I really have a bigger issue with. The equity of outcome, which would be a whole another topic to talk about. But it's like affirmative action. I just think the best person should get the job no matter what they are, and that's not quite how things are going here. Anyways, so I'm not running from the U.S. I love the U.S. It's it's again is what enabled me to start my journey to Russia, and I needed for another 3.5 to 4 years to maintain the rest of my life that I do plan to be in Russia. My long-term goal is to be in Russia. Well, right now for the next 3.5 years, it's about 7 or 8 months in Russia, and a month traveling somewhere else, and the other time here in the U.S. But at the end of this 3.5, 4 year time frame, I'm gonna come back to the U.S. once a year, once every 2 years. I truly will live there. I have my property here. I'll have to sell, or our dream was that we thought one of the kids would actually move in, and we have a small apartment at the house that we built for like a caretaker, and we have no one living there. So our long term goal was one of our children would move in, take the house, and start a family and take care of everything. And it's why I built that big garage behind you there, or behind me there, so I could put all my stuff in it, lock the door, and be gone. And we could just live in a little apartment, and that way be around our grandson who lives around the corner and whoever lives here. But of course, Sergey wants to travel. He doesn't want to live in the U.S. He wants to live all abroad, everywhere, South America and all that. So I don't know. We have to figure it out. But I've got 3 to 4 years to figure it out. But just so you guys know why I have a foot in each country, it's because I have to. Now I could just sell everything and move there and see what happens, but I don't want to do that. The way that I'm doing it, I will have an income stream for the rest of my life. I have my property and my business that I will get something small from. So, which will lead me to what I really want to do is to open up some kind of business in Russia, something small. I love coffee and I can speak English. Those are kind of like my two best skills that I have in Russia. So I figured, why not have a business doing my two skills? Drinking coffee, so I want to open up a coffee shop, and I want to do a language center. Start off with English, of course, and start off with English clubs and go from there. I mean, I have some ideas. I don't necessarily want to share them all yet, but that's what I'd like to do. And I don't want to make money doing it. I want it to be able to pay for everything. Kind of, I wouldn't say a nonprofit, but at the same time, it just pays for itself. Have employees contribute. I want to pay them more than the average Russian salary because I want them to be really happy to be a part of something that's a little different, and go from there. That's what I want to do. I have some other things I'd like to do, but I really need to be there before I could do all that. So explain. I hope that explains a little bit more about why I'm still here. And so back to the news. And so even when I'm here, I don't see my kids much. My daughter's busy. She's got a boyfriend, and he lives up in northern Indiana. She's moving in a month to her new job in Michigan, a different state. And my daughter Olivia lives here in the city, but she works nights from 4 to 10. It's really just difficult. Well, she works from 10 to 4, so it's hard. So what I'm doing, and I hope it works out well. My son Keaton is actually in Germany. He's in Berlin right now. He's doing a 6-week exchange program for his university, Indiana University. And I'm leaving, like I said, in a few weeks, and I'm going to stop by and pick him up June 21st. I'm going to pick him up, and then June 23rd, together, we're going to Russia. So he's going to spend almost 6 weeks with me in Russia. Stay tuned. We're going to do a lot of videos. I'm trying to travel a little more so he can see as much of Russia as possible. So that'll be fun. And I didn't want to leave Sergey out, so I asked Sergey if he wants to meet us in Germany when we go back to Europe. So Sergey and his wife and our grandson Liam, who's less than 2, that's gonna be interesting. He's gonna meet us in Germany, and we're gonna spend 10 days in Europe, just traveling wherever they want to go. I told them I really don't care about Europe much. Excuse me. So I'd rather travel in Russia because I haven't seen all of Russia yet. But we're gonna meet there, and I don't do 2 to 4 cities max. But that way I can spend quality time with everybody since I don't see them on a daily basis, and I'm gonna try and do stuff like that. Maybe when they get vacations, when they start working, fly them, just like I did, because fly them over and I could see them. And that I hope will, make sure that I still maintain that relationship with my kids. So that's my goal. But it'll be fun having Keaton here. He's 20, so he's right at that age that he's in Prague today right now having fun. So he's at that age of exploring and all of that. So that'll be fun. So we'll see how it goes. But that's it. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm trying to do more videos just because there's no reason to have a channel if you don't do videos. And when I in the winter, it was a little harder to do videos in the winter. I found I do much more, and I have a lot of videos, but honestly, I don't think the content's anybody wants to see. I have this. I love trains. I just love the way that Russia it does its transportation. I love the metro. I love the trains from city to city, and so I have a lot of videos of trains that I don't think I want to bore you with, especially if you live in Russia. Like, we know what a train looks like. So I try not to do that. In the grocery store, that seems to be what a lot of foreigners in Russia do. They take videos of the grocery store. I did get a suggestion from a comment that I think was a good idea, because I have a real estate business here. Of course, it's not as productive as it was because I'm not here. So now I'm trying to get members to be a part of it and let them do their thing and just make a little money from it and make them. My brother is part of my real estate brokerage firm, so I'm hoping to get a couple other people, keep that going. And the comment was, I should go to a house here in the U.S. and kind of show it, do a video on what it looks like, what's the common house here, at least in my state in Indiana, and show what the cost is and compare it to something in Russia. It's really hard because the average price in my area is $425,000 US dollars, around there. It's a lot of money. It's a lot, and you've got to go to the center of Moscow to really start seeing some apartments that are that expensive. I mean, of course they are. It's not hard to find a 400,000, a 40 to 50 million ruble apartment. It's not hard. There's plenty of them over there, but it might be hard for me to get access to them. But I could show you, and that's not an average apartment in Moscow. I don't think it is. It's not average at all. Come on, that's crazy. I don't know anybody in my circle in Moscow that has a 50 million ruble apartment. But I will do that. I think that's one video I'll do before I leave. I'll pick one of the new construction houses and show you what a brand new house looks like here and compare it. I'll do that. So other than that, I'm just kind of doing my tasks around here. I have some really big projects at work that the timing is not working well. We were supposed to have a whole new operating system and software, and it's supposed to be developed last year, but it's rolling out almost when I'm leaving. So I'm hoping it rolls out before I leave so I can be a part of that. And if you're curious what I do, my law office kind of runs itself. I have other attorneys and they do it. I just kind of manage things from afar. I do more of a macro management. If there's problems, I get involved. I manage the systems. And even now the attorneys and my IT guy is doing really well. I have a Ukrainian guy who works for me. Well, he's born in Ukraine. But Nikita takes care of the software. So I don't need to get involved in it daily, but I need to make sure that they're doing things the way that I want to do. But that's what I do. But that's it. So I will let you go, and I will enjoy the rest of my Saturday, and I got to get up and go attack those gutters. See you, до свидания.